Right, welcome back. So, Arizona, St. Louis, Game 7, Chapter 7 of this huge battle. And if you're a Coyotes fan, you have to feel pretty good about things right now, I would think. Now they can move on and play other teams, but they've shown with this 7 game series against St. Louis that they can hang with the Blues. And not only that, they can beat the Blues. This was a series where both teams had won 3 games, so it was a true Game 7, and Arizona manages to come out on top. Let's discuss how this happened. There's, according to the pregame, there's 7 different, including today, 7 different jersey combinations between these two teams. So, because they each have so many different jerseys they can wear, there's been 7 different combinations in game. So that being said, this was Kemper against Binnington, and this was the Game 7 between the two teams. First minute, both teams had shots, so they came out. They weren't holding back early on. The Coyotes' fourth line. I can't say enough good things about the bottom 6 for the Coyotes, whether it's the third line or the fourth line. Both of them playing very, very well. And the shots were 4-3 for the Blues at 3.5 minutes. But again, I felt I needed to talk about that bottom 6 for the Coyotes. Binnington denies Schmaltz. Krug had a shot at the half. The rebound was cleared. So close calls. Close calls don't count as goals. Kemper then had a stop on Krug after that. So Krug was denied a couple of times there. Blues not getting second chances. So one key thing for the Blues today was they weren't able to get the second chances as Kemper was either smothering the puck or the Coyotes were clearing it. And that defense, that underrated defense for the Arizona Coyotes was clearing it a lot. So some very good play there. Brassard had a wraparound that was stopped. And he honestly, he takes the shot and it bounces up and then it bounces down and is right in front of Binnington. If it had had backspin on it, it ends up in the net, but it just spins and it kind of hangs there and drops down Binnington and ends up staying out. There were no Coyotes there to bat it in out of the air either. So, great positioning by Binnington, and that prevents Arizona from going up on that play. Both teams defending very well. So, both teams deserve some credit for their defense today. Last minute, the Blues had a chance that misfired. With 25.9 seconds left, Ryan O'Reilly, who does not take penalties, you can look up his career stats. He has like roughly 100 penalty minutes in 800 games. It's insane. Today, and just for this season in general, he has been taking penalties. So O'Reilly with a penalty gives the Coyotes a power play with 25.9 seconds left. So we go to the second period, still scoreless. The Blues killed off the remainder of that penalty. And then there was a chance by Sundqvist that takes place at this stage. And so they're actually pressuring the power play pretty darn well. So after that, the Blues did press at 3 minutes, and you kind of got the feeling that after that penalty kill, that the Blues may very well have that momentum. But it's Clayton Keller scoring from Schmaltz at 5:21. So Clayton Keller, who has been picking up the goals and the assists recently, picks up another one here. Schmaltz with the helper. And Binnington shakes his head and skates away from the net after that. He almost got it. It was one of those almosts. And, I'm sure Binnington was thinking, I should have had that. And it's if you want to call it a mistake, I guess you can. It was a pretty good shot by Keller as well. And then right after that, there's a huge turnover by the Blues. And the Coyotes almost make it 2-0 off that turnover. So watch your turnovers. The Coyotes puck pressured the Blues. And that was key. It felt like they were forcing turnovers. They were pressing on every shift, making sure the Blues weren't making easy passes. There wasn't any moments of easy breathing for that Blues team when they had the puck. So then the Blues pressure, Kemper was pretty sharp, and he had some help from the posts as Vince Dunn had hit the post shortly before that. And that was right after Ryan O'Reilly had won a faceoff. O'Reilly in the faceoff circle is pretty darn good. Not sure if you know that or not. And then at 9:03, the Blues get a power play. They had the momentum at this point, and it was a game of momentum shifts. The second period was actually pretty good for the Blues. That's the weird thing, is that as much as Arizona gets the goal here, it was a good period for St. Louis. Puck to the hand on Chychrun during the power play. Don't open your hand and use that to block the puck. That's a bad idea. Chychrun would actually exit the game. He would return, but it looked kind of scary at the time because you never know if that puck's going to break your hand or might hit you on the wrist. You know, with the short gloves they wear now, it could easily hit exposed skin on the wrist and your wrist's broken. Didn't happen, but yeah, it looked kind of scary at the time. And then Krause was guilty of concealing the puck, holding it with his glove. You can't do that. So becomes a 34-second 5-on-3 for St. Louis. And that, to me, really felt like that was the turning point of the game. This is where they needed that goal, but the Coyotes killed it off. So the frustration for the St. Louis power play continues. It's been a story all season, and that story continues today. Chychrun would return with 6 minutes left in the second period, and then he went right back to shot blocking, went right back to his game. It's not like he looked at all nervous. It's not like they cut back his ice time at all. He just goes in, yep, not broken, I'm fine, I'm all right, and goes right back out on the ice. You've got to admire a guy's courage when he's willing to do that. Kyrou then guilty of a turnover, but the Coyotes misfired on that opportunity late in the period. Barbashev then had a chance on a Coyotes turnover, which was bailed out by Kemper. Garland had a breakaway on an OEL pass, hits the post. Remember, when you hit the post, it doesn't count as a shot on net. And then on a 2-on-1 in the final 30 seconds, Garland takes a shot that goes high. So Connor Garland, lots of opportunities, probably going to be kicking himself that they don't go in, but he's still generating offense. And then with 7.8 seconds left, in part because they're getting these opportunities, they end up getting a power play. So we go into the third period, and the Coyotes are on a power play, much as they were going into the second. Now, the Coyotes coming into today were 4-1 when they're leading after 2 periods. Keller had a near miss on the power play during that one to start the period, but the Blues would kill that off, and it felt like the next goal, whoever gets that, that's really, really important. And the next goal would be important because we don't, well, you can see the score. It just doesn't happen, right? It would have been important. Might have been very important. So OEL had a chance. Bennington with a stop on, again, a really good fourth line shift for the Coyotes, where they're physically driving the play. John Hayden was hitting everything that moved. Barrett Hayton was playing very well as well. And you can see the announcer was kind of like, really, Hayden and Hayton are on the same line? Okay, let's do this. And yeah, that was a very good game by that bottom six of the Coyotes, who seem to be getting better as the season goes along. Smothering Coyotes defense, kind of a chirpy game, but considering this is the 7th straight game these teams were against each other, pretty clean game. You'll notice no fights, no big scrums or anything. These teams were pretty good, and there was no handshake at the end of this either. You expect a handshake line after a 7th game. We didn't get it. I would imagine that's against protocols, but hey, it's still at least a hand wave or something, or just a finger guns at each other from across the ice. I'm team finger guns. That would be great. Shen then takes a penalty, gives the Coyotes a power play 8 minutes and 23 seconds into the third. However, after they kill that off, it's one of those, watch the guy coming out of the box. The Blues end up with a 3-on-2, and Dunn was robbed by Kemper. Dunn's absolutely robbed. Pretty sure it was a setup by O'Reilly over to him, and Dunn was robbed. So Dunn probably should have had a goal, but Darcy Kemper said no. The bottom six for the Coyotes then pushed with 8 minutes left. And again, being able to roll 4 lines, they're playing so well, and I don't know how much of this has to do with Rick Tocchet. Like, I know when the Coyotes are struggling that Tocchet takes a lot of the blame. I think he should get the credit for games like this today and for how well the bottom six is playing, but that's me. O'Reilly went to the box again. And this is up to 10 minutes in penalties for him this year. He had 12 all last season. He does not take penalties. It was a high stick. Now, the reaction of Berube and O'Reilly tells me they wanted somebody else to go to the box too, or they didn't like the call at all. So Berube wasn't happy. I didn't see the referee go over to talk to him. I know if he was screaming and yelling at me, I wouldn't necessarily go walking up to him. What's wrong, Craig? What are you doing? I'd be calling for a cab and getting the hell out of there. But, this is very unlike Ryan O'Reilly to have this many penalty minutes this early in the season, but it was a high stick, so the Blues would kill it off, but that penalty was with 3:25 left, so after that penalty's done, you only have another minute and 25 seconds left to hold on to the lead. So that power play as well, it was a late setup for the Coyotes, and they just couldn't get it done. So the Coyotes also weren't able to expand the lead. The goaltender gets pulled with a minute left. Dunn was denied again because that's what happens in this game. And with 52.3 seconds left, the Blues call a timeout. They come out of that timeout. They're unable to generate a tying goal. And the Coyotes win this one 1-0. So they win the fourth game. Both teams had won 3 games of this series so far. So the Coyotes win that 7th game. And it doesn't have to go to overtime either. So there's no extra point in there. And yeah, you look at the shots. It was 10-9 Arizona in the first. And then in the second, it was 12-5 in favor of the Blues. And then the Coyotes just shut it down. They outshot them 4-3 in the third period. Final shots 24-19 in favor of the Blues, who had to be frustrated. And their power play goes 0 for 2. Remember, part of that's a 5-on-3. Arizona 0 for 4. Binnington, 18 saves on 19 shots. Kemper saves all 24 for his 19th career shutout. His 9th as a Coyote. So yeah, Kemper continues to be the story. And the THG tidbit for this one-game board is that, and this is a comment I saw from a couple months ago, actually, on the channel I saw, this is actually a registered business. The Hockey Guy, I've actually registered it as a business. It's relatively easy to register as a business. You have to pay money to do that, but I registered as a business, so you've got the business license ID and all that other stuff. So, yeah, magnets are a business expense. The boards are a business expense. It's all, everything you see in this room qualifies as a business expense. So, and it's been a business for the last 2 years, as I said, officially. And I've done this full-time for a little over 3. And thank you guys so much for your support all the way. If you haven't already hit like and subscribe, by all means do. And let me know in the comment section below how you feel about today's game and how excited you are for the 9 that are about to start. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.